Welcome to the highlights of day 3 of Legends of Chess. And what a day it turned out to be. It had everything for the lover of the sport. It had brilliancy, it had blunders, it had drama, it had excitement, and of course it had heartaches. The best part of this particular clash is that for Anand, when he became the undisputed world champion in 2008, the man he defeated was Vladimir Kramnik. And then thereafter, it was Magnus Carlsen who beat Anand to take the crown in 2013. So on successive days, Anand played Magnus Carlsen first, and then Vladimir Kramnik the following day. So here was Anand starting this match with 2 losses already, having lost to Peter Swidler in round 1, Magnus Carlsen in round 2, and he was up against a rival whom he has begun to admire since 2008, because just before that there was not any great friendship among the at least between these two, and there was a lot of talk of very intense rivalry because the Russian bloc was always under the impression that Anand wasn't a true world champion until he won a world championship match. So when he beat Kramnik in 2008, so Anand became the first man in the game to win a world title in all 3 formats. The knockout format, which was there in 2000, and then of course 2007 he won a tournament format, and then in 2008 he won a match, which is the traditional way of crowning a champion. That is, you have to beat one individual in a match. So that's what it was. So it was this background that is important to know when these two players play, because they enjoy immense respect of the chess world, and their clash was quite obviously it was seen as the match of the day. First of all, Anand played with white pieces, got into a position where he said he saw this great brilliant idea, which was like he just had the central pawn which had the potential to become a queen, and the queens were already off the board. So suddenly it was just a very normal game, and suddenly Anand sees this brilliant idea where he wants to promote that pawn, but it's not easy because the rival pawns are blocking the path of this particular pawn, the advanced pawn from Anand, and he decides to break the pawn structure of Kramnik. So what he does, he offers a piece. That is, first he offers a bishop, then he offers a knight. Now imagine you're playing against another former world champion. You don't normally see this happening in the world of chess, because people don't normally give away pieces like that. At least one sacrifice is something that you see, but 2 sacrifices, and there were 2 pieces up for grabs, and Kramnik wisely didn't take any of them. But then there was this point where the time was shrinking for both, and Anand somehow missed one trick there, because now here the credit should also go to Kramnik, because he, at one point it appeared that he didn't have any defensive resources. His rook, his knight, his his 2 knights, they were all virtually out of play. Where the king was, where the pawn was, the Anand's advanced pawn, these 3 pieces of Kramnik were actually away from action, so virtually out of play. But give credit to this man, he brings them into play and forces Anand to think pretty hard. Now, this particular thing, it was a kind of a minor setback for Anand, of course, and a lot of those who were watching this game, they thought that this was going to be a beautiful finish, because Anand was on a roll till that point. Now we reach a point where Kramnik was trying to defend, he was getting his knight into action, and at that point, Anand decided to just go flat out. He just wanted to just complete that idea of pushing the pawn, but somehow he couldn't finish it at that point. Still, he had the advantage, Now came a point where he lets Kramnik get his queen back on the board, and then Kramnik, in desperation, tried to give a lot of checks. Now, this was the crucial point where Anand missed a particular move where he should have blocked that queen check with his knight. Now, he missed this move, and the very next move he had to resign because he just saw that his king had nowhere to go and checkmate was inevitable. Now, this was a heartbreaking moment for Anand and Anand's fans. And the impact of this particular result, you know, it was so great that it had to echo somewhere, and it did immediately in the next game. It was quite clear that Anand hadn't recovered from the result of that game. This is the kind of game where a lot of experts, including the former world champion Rustam Kazimzanov, who was also Anand's second for a number of years, he said that if you don't enjoy this game in chess, then chess is not a game. You have to enjoy this because it was just brilliant. A lot of people couldn't believe that they were actually watching this live. This wasn't a created or a directed or an orchestrated game. This was just originality over the board. So you have to give credit to Anand, and also a lot of credit is due to Kramnik for finding the right defense at the right time. So this game is something that we are going to talk about for a long time. It will be remembered and recalled on a lot of platforms, and people are already trying to see that, okay, what kind of originality this is, because a lot of chess these days has become rather monotonous because the computers don't come up with brilliant ideas. They give you solutions to a lot of problems that you have. So it is a lot of joy of watching brilliancy over the board is at a premium these days. So that opportunity was created by Anand yesterday. Unfortunately, he couldn't put the finishing touches. And in the words of Kramnik, I mean, after the match, he was magnanimous in saying that, look, and there was a lot of point in that particular game where he was wondering why he didn't lose immediately. Now, that is what Kramnik thought during the match. And then he also said that it's not easy to cope with a defeat like that, and that was quite natural because in the next game, Anand was rather desperate. Even while playing with black pieces, Anand tried to just attack on the queen side, on the king side. Just left his king open and just rolled the pawns. And Kramnik just waited for the opportunity. He defended first initially, and then, as he himself said, that things started happening my way. And once that happened, it was quite difficult for Anand to even focus. And Anand almost gave up at a point that he knew that, of course, he had already reached a point of no return. And then, of course, the third game where Anand had to win, not just the third game, but also the fourth, just to ensure that the game went into the tie-breaking game. But that was not to be. The third game ended in a draw and gave that match to Kramnik, 2.5 to half. So that ended in 3 games. Anand, of course, again, he still hasn't scored in this tournament, but he's playing some brilliant chess. That is what everybody acknowledged, including Kramnik. So there's still a lot of hope, but to be in Anand's shoes is difficult because you don't often see that even after 3 rounds, Anand is yet to score, but he's playing some brilliant chess. If he can get his act right against Anish Giri, he's his 4th round opponent now, because Anish also lost in just 3 games yesterday to Nepomniachtchi. Magnus Carlsen, which I said yesterday that he was playing from a boat, has now returned to shore, and he took on Peter Leko. And now, yesterday we almost thought that we were going to see an upset because Peter Leko, as I said yesterday also, he is one of the best prepared players. He's known for his home preparation. And yesterday it was for the world to see. He was just brilliant. And he had Magnus Carlsen in serious trouble in game 1, again in game 2. And somehow Magnus and his resilience, it just came to the fore. He survived these 2 games. He drew the 3rd. Now in the 4th game, again, it was just a misfortune for Peter Leko that there was a mouse slip. He played a move which he didn't intend to, He just held his rook with his mouse and placed it on the wrong square. And from there on, things just went wrong for him. And of course, these things will happen in online chess. The day was also about the other leader of the day, who shares the lead with Magnus Carlsen, and he is Peter Svidler. Peter Svidler, who beat Anand in the first round, of course, has played only legends so far. He's yet to play the younger lot. And yesterday he beat Boris Gelfand. And he's on a roll, obviously, but then now he's up against Ding Liren in the fourth round. And Ding Liren, like Anand, has lost all three. So he's got a pretty good draw because the kind of form that others are showing, that is obviously suiting Peter Svidler. So we're going to see some action there. We just finished about 1/3 of the tournament, and a lot of chess is still left, and still too early to talk about the potential semi-finalists. But of course, Magnus Carlsen looks a certainty for the simple reason because his form is so great, and he's playing any position. It is not just that he has to get a good position to emerge stronger. He gets into bad positions and still plays very strongly. So that is the difference. I mean, that's what sets him apart. Of course, it was a slow start, but thereafter, it has been, I mean, people are going for each other's throat. So this is going to be a good tournament for you to follow. And I'll be back again tomorrow with more. Thank you for watching.